So we'll create a new project. We use the default app template for iOS. We'll call the project ToDo. We'll keep everything else like interface and language to what they're set to by default, which is Swift and SwiftUI. We won't add testing or any other options here. We'll go ahead and go next. We'll go ahead and save it to desktop or wherever you like to. And here we are with the standard SwiftUI Hello World project. Now to get started, we're going to go to our main app, which we can find right here, the only two files we have. And we're going to first import SwiftData. And now we're going to go ahead and create our model class to represent our to-do item. And for now, we'll just go ahead and do it right under our main struct. We're going to prefix our class with the @model macro, which converts a Swift class into a stored model that's managed by SwiftData. So it does a lot of the work for us for persisting our to-dos. We'll go ahead and call this class to-do. And we're going to give it two simple properties. The first property is going to be a title, something that we, call our to-do. So we'll make this a string. And our next property is going to be a Boolean value, which will just allow us to track if we have completed any of these tasks we set out for ourselves. So we'll go like that. And we're getting this complaint that the model requires an initializer. So we'll go ahead and add an initializer by just going down to line 24 and typing out init, and it already has the completion for us. So this is all we need for our class, but we do need to add an extension on the Boolean property because we're going to use it later and we need it to be comparable. So let's go down a few more lines, enter, I'll go ahead and scroll up so we have a little more room. And we're going to add our extension. Extensions are nice and easy. Just type out the word extension and then what we want to extend. In this case, we want to extend the bool, which is a value type, for instance, where we can check either true or false. We also are going to make this comparable because that's how we want to sort our list. When we check something off, we're going to say, is it complete? If so, move those to the bottom of the list. And comparable is just a protocol we want to conform to so that we can have the ability to compare something. And then we'll go ahead and open and close curly braces. And here we're going to create one public struct. So we're going to go public static function. I may have said struct for some reason, but we're actually creating a function here. And we're going to go ahead and just do that, and we're going to go LHS, which is for the left hand side, and then we're going to just compare it against self, and then we're going to go RHS, which will be for the right hand side, self again, and then we want to return a true or false value, so bool, open and close curly brace, and then here we're just going to say not LHS. Then use the AND operator, right hand side. I had to think about that. Right hand side, left hand side. And we are getting a complaint here. It says extension declares a conformance of imported type bool to imported protocol comparable. This will not behave, gotta extend this. This will not behave correctly if the owners of Swift, so Apple, introduce this conformance in the future. So to fix this, we'll go ahead and do the retroactive to silence the warning. Go ahead and do that. And this is all good. I think we're all good in our model to get everything going. Now we'll go ahead and come up to line 17 underneath our window group. And this is where we want to add our model. So dot model, and we want to do model context. We want to use for. So sets the model container in this scene for storing the model type, creating a new container if necessary. It also sets the model context for the container in the scene's environment. And using this in the scene's environment is going to be handy when we want to add items. So go ahead and hit enter on that. And all we want to do here is go to do.self. And with all that in place, we can build out our view. So let's go ahead and go over to content view and start working on that. But first, we want to import SwiftData into our view. And we want to add two properties so we can access our model, and we want to add our array of to-dos. So come up here to line 8, press enter, do import, and we want to import SwiftData. Then we want to go down here to line 11, press enter a few times, and we'll go ahead and create an @environment, and then we go open parenthesis / dot model context. So this will allow us to query items and save items, and then we're going to make this a private property. So var, because we'll be able to mutate it, and we'll go call it model context. Then we want to go ahead and go @query. So this is just fetches all of our instances, all of our, to-dos, and we want to sort this here, and this is where we had to create that extension on bool so we could do some proper sorting. And we're going to go sort colon / to-do dot is completed. This is the Boolean property, and then we'll sort like that. And again, we're going to create this as a property, so var to-dos, which actually probably could set this to be private as well. Don't think any of our other list views need this, or we're not going to create any other list views, so we'll go private var, and we call it to-dos like so, and we're just going to specify of type. That's what the colon there means, is of type empty array to-do. Oops, lowercase o. Command S and escape so we don't have any of the completion stuff showing up. And if we go Option Command P, we'll update our preview, but we haven't changed any UI elements, so nothing's going to change here. Now, before we go on to make some UI elements, let's go ahead and create 2 additional properties. One is going to be a state property that will allow us to show an alert, and we'll toggle that value because it'll be true or false. And one is going to be a title property that we'll be able to use to create the titles for our to-dos. So let's go ahead and do that by going down and adding them here. @state, which is just a property wrapper type that can read and write a value managed by SwiftUI. So we can kind of watch changes. And we'll make this private. And again, it'll be a variable because we'll be able to toggle this property true or false. We're going to go is alert showing. And then we want to assign it a false value because we're not going to pop up right away. So we'll do that. And then our next property is going to be another @state, like so. Again, we keep it private to this view. And again, it'll be a variable property. All of our state properties will be variables. And this is going to be a to-do title. And we're going to assign it an empty value, an empty string, which we can do, like that, or we could, type out string and just initialize an empty string. So I don't know, whichever way you like. Let me know if there's a preference in the comments below. And maybe before we start creating our UI, let's do one other little bit of logic before we kind of forget about it. So let's go to the end of our body property here. We'll go enter a few times, and we'll create a function here that will allow us to delete to-do items. So maybe we've completed a few. We're like, wow, we got a long list of completed things. Let's clear them out. So we're going to go ahead and write func, and this is going to be delete to-dos, and then we're just going to, for the parameters, we're just going to put that there so we don't see it when we call it. And then we'll just say index set, and this is going to be of type index set, which is just a collection of unique integer values. So way to identify things. That looks good there. And then in here, we're just going to go for loop. So for index, and it's going to be in index set. We are going to create a to-do, let to-do. Again, I don't know why I keep capitalizing the O. And we're going to assign it the to-dos. So we're going to grab that array of to-dos, and we're going to assign it the one at that specific index. Then this is where we access our model context. So we're going to go model context dot delete. So this just removes the specified model from the persistent storage. So we're getting rid of it, no longer storing it. And here we're just going to pass in that to-do we created from the specific index that we iterated through, except not to-do title. autocomplete. It's not always the best. So now I think we're ready to start building out this simple UI. Inside of our body property here, we'll select all this and go delete. And we're going to get all kinds of errors, but we'll fix them shortly. First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a navigation stack. In this simple app, we're not going to navigate anywhere, but it'll look nice and allow us to put a title on top. So we'll go ahead and do that by going nav stack, hit enter, open and close curly brace, and in here we want to create a list. So we're going to go list, and we're not going to do anything there. We're actually just going to create a for each, and then in this for each is where we want to grab that to-dos array that we created on line 13. Go like that. And then we are going to go open curly brace. Apparently I'm putting too many curly braces here. Open curly brace. And then we'll create this single to-do, the constant. And then we will go in, and I'll delete that because I think oh wait, I didn't. No, we do need that. Apparently I'm not paying attention to my keyboard. Alright. There we go. Now we're inside our for each, and now we have a constant for the current item we're on, and this is where we're going to start creating our rows. So this is going to be pretty simple. We're going to have a button, and we're going to have a title. The button is going to be something we can toggle the is complete on, and then the title is just going to be our to-do title. So we'll start with a button. I want that to be the leading UI element. And I'm just going to go AC, gets me my action label, which is, I guess, the way I prefer to do buttons. And in here, we're going to go to do dot, and then we're going to get that is completed property. And then we're just going to simply toggle it. So like that, really simple. And then next we'll go down to line 25, and we're going to go ahead and create an image. And we're going to go open parentheses, and we're going to go system image. And this is where we go Command Shift L, where we can get a system image. And we got a couple options along here. We want to go down to this last one, which is the symbols library. And in here we're going to look for a check mark. And we're going to go dot circle. All right, and now I'm going to go circle fill. So press enter. One thing I forgot to do is put this is a string, so with my cursor at the end here, I can just go shift, press there, and then I go shift and press the quotation marks. So now we've got a string. Now we are going to have one problem with this. I don't want it to be a filled in circle all the time, because sometimes it's not going to be a complete task. So we're going to make this image be conditional by doing to do dot is completed, and then we just do question mark, and then we have, if it is complete, we'll do this, otherwise colon, which means otherwise in this time we're going to just have it be a circle. I'll also press Command 0 so we have a little more room for our code here, and I'll pull this over so make it a little more readable hopefully. Command S, making some progress. Again, our UI hasn't updated, but if we go Option Command P, you'll see it change, and it should be empty right now because we don't have actually any data in there. But that's our button complete. So we'll go down to line 27, and we'll go ahead and create our text. This will be really simple. We'll just do to do. Make sure we don't do to do title, which we keep getting. That's a string property. We want the actual to do class, the item we made. And then we're going to go the title from here. So that'll show whatever title the user enters when the alert shows up. So we're looking pretty good. We go to the end of our for each here, and on the end of that we want to go ahead and do dot on delete, and then we want to perform something, and what we want to perform is the delete to-dos function. Like so. So now when the user swipes from the trailing side of the screen, they'll be able to delete whatever to-do they swiped on, because they're going to use the index for that element. Now to start adding something to our screen over here, we can go ahead and go to our list right here on line 31. I'll scroll down a little bit. We're going to go .nav title, and we can just call it to-do app. Now we want to add a toolbar item, and this will be the button so that we can start adding things to our to-do list. So I'll go enter .toolbar, and here we can just put in a view inside of here, and this view is going to be a button, and it's going to be another like action label, like so. Press enter, and we're going to go is alert showing, and we just want to toggle that so that we can pop up that alert. And then with that done, we can go down to line 37, and this is just adding our image for our button. So we'll go image and go system image, and we're going to go ahead and put a string here by going Command-Shift-L, and we're just going to type in plus dot circle. And I always search in here because if you don't get these string names right, then well, nothing's going to show up. But now you can see we got our little button here, which does absolutely nothing at the moment. Well, I mean, it does toggle the value, but we didn't set up our alert quite yet, so it doesn't look like it does anything. We'll clean up that line, and now we can go ahead and add that alert though. So move outside of our toolbar modifier, and right below that we'll go dot alert, and we'll go ahead and press enter, and this is just going to be our title for the alert, which we'll just say add to do, like so. The is presented, that's going to be tied to our is alert showing property, so we'll just do $is alert showing, press enter, and then I'll hit tab, and then inside of our actions we're going to go ahead and add a text field and a button. So again, I'll scroll down a little bit so we have a little room, and we're going to add a text field. We'll go title key and text. Here we just go enter to do, and then our binding is going to be at to do title, that property we've made up on line 16. So that's where we're going to use that. We'll update it when they type it in, that'll update, and we can pass that into creating our model. And we'll do that by creating a button here. So we'll go button, and again we'll just do action label, and our action is going to be getting a hold of our model context, and we're going to be inserting the new to-do that we've made. Go down here and it registers the specified model with context, so it can include whatever the user created at the next save. And to save it, we're just gonna do to-do, and we'll initialize it with the to-do title string that the user just typed in, or we assume they just typed in. And the is completed, they just created this, so we're not gonna say it's complete, we'll just default to false. And then for the label, we're just gonna create a text field here, or text view, not a field, and we're just going to say, add. And if you want to see this in action, we can just come over to our preview, hit plus, you can see add to do. Again, why did I make that in uppercase D-O? Don't know why I keep doing that. There we go. That looks a little better. Then they can say something like do, walk the dog, add, and you'd imagine it gets added to the list. But we'll run this in the simulator in a little bit. So there's one more thing I want to add really quick, and that is on line, well, not 49, we're going to just add it right after or wait a minute. Yeah, we're going to go outside of our alert modifier here. And so on line 50, we're going to add an overlay, which will be conditional, but this is going to be a little view that we can see when, the user first launches the app or they've deleted all their to-dos. Instead of just staring at a blank screen, we'll add an unavailable view, meaning the to-do lists, they're not there. So I'll go overlay, and we will go content unavailable, and there's a couple options here. I'm just going to go with a title and image, and this is a great view to show when there's just nothing there to really, like if you go to the mail app and you're like, oh, you don't have anything in your mailbox, so it just kind of like gives you, I don't know, an empty mailbox message. And obviously we need to spell things correctly, so overlay wasn't spelled correctly. So here we can just say nothing to do. No, nothing to do here. And then for the image, we will again use Command-Shift-L, and we'll look through our SF symbols. So we want a check mark, or we could do anything, but I was thinking a check mark with a circle makes sense, because maybe it's like, oh, look at everything got done. So just double tap that, and we should have nothing to do here. And there should be an image. Option Command P, update our preview. Oh, because we're using image. We need to use system image. If we use image, that's different than an image is different than a system image. So yeah, we got to use the proper stuff here. So system image, and then we specify the name for that image, and then we update our preview and see what did we do wrong here. What did I do? Replace system image with system image. Oh, spelling, it's important. All right, so now we've got this nice view to show the user when they haven't added anything. And at this point, I think we're all there. We've made our overlay to show to the users when there's nothing there. We made our delete function so that we can actually delete items. We've got our alert so the user can actually add to-do items. We've got our toolbar so they actually have a button to add to-do items. And we have our navigation title, which is right there. And of course, this is all in a navigation stack, which is where we're adding the button and the title. We have a nice list, so as they add lots of items, we can scroll through a list. And we have a way to iterate over all of our items to present them with a title and a to-do option. And then, of course, we call our delete function here. And of course, this is how we get access to our stored and persisted, to-dos. And then we have just a little bit of state property here to control some UI elements and so forth. So if I run this, I think we'll be all good. And I apologize if my voice is a little crappy. Yeah, it's just been not awesome. So here we are with the simulator, and any minute we'll see about running it. I also make sure to run my simulator in dark mode and the preview in Xcode and light, so we can see how our UI looks in two different color schemes. But if you ever want to change it in the simulator, it's just Command-Shift-A. Doesn't seem to be updating. Oh, there it is. So now it's light mode, Command-Shift-A. Now we're in dark mode. So just kind of always check and see how our UI is looking. So we obviously have nothing to do, so let's add some things. We're going to go walk dog, and if I go Command K, we can see the keyboard. So we got that. We can, dogs, we have multiple. I only have one, but you can imagine. Oh, we did something wrong here, because now we've got this still showing, and this is all messed up. So while those are messed up, that's a UI thing. Let's quit the app and open it again and see if anything persisted. Yay, it did. So we quit our app, we open it back up, and we still have data persisting, and that's the main thing. But these UI fixes are easy. Let's go back to Xcode, and back in Xcode, we can come down here and we can look at our button label. And so here's the problem here. When we iterated over these, we just kind of added these in and obviously made a V stack. So we'll Command X, and we'll say this is an H stack, like so. And that should fix our row problem right there. As for our overlay problem, I'm going to highlight this, Command X to cut it out. I'm going to highlight this, Command X to cut it out. And this needs to be inside of a conditional statement. So we don't want to always be showing it. We only want to show it if our to-dos are empty. So dot is empty. Just tells us if our collection is empty. So an array is a collection. But now this view here should only be visible when we don't have anything in our to-do item. So let's see if that works. We'll go ahead and run it again and see how things look. All right, so this is looking great. Our walk the dogs is still there, so it persisted. Go ahead and close it really quick, open it back up. Yep, everything looks great. Now, our view's gone, which is great because we have something here. So let's delete it and see if it shows back up. Awesome. So if we have nothing in our collection, our array, we don't we get to see this view because we want to show the user something, I guess. But as soon as we add something like, we'll go ahead and, I don't know, walk the dog, we'll go, read a book, I don't know. Go ahead and add that. That view disappears. We have a book to read. We could add something else. Oh, and it also says read the book. I'll show a quick fix on that so we don't get text in there. But here we'll say go outside. Oops. Go outside. Get some fresh air. So now we got two things. I'll go ahead and quit the app, open it back up, and we got two things here. We'll click go outside. It's checked off. Quit it again, see if it's persisting that. It is, which is great. I'll quit it and we'll do one last fix, which is cleaning up our, when we add a new item, it still has that text there. So we go to our alert here and we go to our button, and then after we've added the title, so it's already been inserted to our model context, so our persistence, then we can come down here and we can go to do title, and we can just assign it an empty string like so. And if we run this, we should have fixed that last problem. So everything looks good. We're going to go plus, and we are going to say walk the dog. I'm going to go add, and then when I hit this again, I should get an empty field, so I don't have to clear it out. So that's nice. So we'll go do stuff, something like that. I'll go ahead, and I've already been doing some stuff, so check that off. It automatically drops it down to the bottom because we're filtering so that we have our undone things at the top and our done things at the bottom. And there we go. Sorry if this is a bit rambly, but if this was a helpful video, subscribe, comment, let me know if you'd like to see something specific, and I'll see if I can do it. Thanks for watching.